Yeah, I think that is so important, and how encouraging that is, because I think
Mhm.
we get so overwhelmed by the behaviors. We feel like anything that we're trying is not helpful, that it does feel like a lost cause, or that as the caregivers are not equipped, or we're failing. So hearing the hope that you're sharing of kids where it's been one extreme and then you see progress, I think is so encouraging. And so the magic question is, where do we start with those types of exercises with our children, with the healthy implementation of boundaries? Like, what's a good starting point?
Absolutely. Great question. So, for NFCT, one of the very first things we actually do, and it's going to get a little loud in my background, but NFCT, one of the very first things we do is a solution card. And we do it in the very first, our joining session with the caregivers, because we meet with them first. And we actually do every intervention we do with the caregiver first, and then we ask permission, can we do it with your children? And it's also to help them see what we are doing. And so what we do is the solution card, and it's basically an index card with caregivers. It looks a little, I've made it a little bit funner for children, so I kind of have one right here. So this is what it looks like for the children. And I'll talk about that. But we start with an index card, a solution card, and I always ask the caregivers to write 5 things down that they do that help calm them down. Because again, they're the role model, they're the example. And so the more that they're regulating themselves, the more the child is going to see that they're regulated, and they're going to feed off of that regulation. And so we always start there and we write down 5, and then my name goes at the bottom of their index card, because anytime crisis comes up when I'm working with a family, I always ask them when they call me, have you done your solution card? Because I
Hmm.
want them to get into that practice of they turn to that first. And a solution card can include, it can include like deep breathing. There's all kinds of deep breathing. It's not just deep breathing in and out, but there's different types like lion breathing and dragon breathing. Um, and then there's also people like to journal, people like to go outside, people like to read their scriptures, people like to take a bath or shower if that's realistic. I always ask, make sure it's realistic and it's something, because sometimes people will put like build a fire. Well, we can't always build a fire outside when we're in the middle of crisis, or when we're in the middle of, escalation with a child. And sometimes it's just, you have to walk away to excuse yourself and go to your room. And sometimes the child will follow, and you have to let that child know, because oftentimes with attachment issues, children, when there is escalation, they will hover with the caregiver and they will not let the caregiver have a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
And so we let that child know, you're safe. I'm going to address this with you, but I need 5 minutes to calm myself down. You're being that example. I need 5 minutes to calm myself down so that I can talk to you in a kind voice. And you're just
Yeah.
kind of being that example for them. And so it takes a few times, and it takes a little bit before they realize, okay, I'm okay. If they walk away from me, they're going to come back to me and we're
Yeah.
going to reconnect. And so you just allow that, let them know that there is that safety. Like, I'm going to reconnect with you. I'm going to talk to you when I can be calm to you, because that's not fair to you if I'm yelling at you.
Right.
That's not helping you. And so there's all kinds of ideas, but I start there. And then it can also be people. So people that they reach out to can be on their card. It can be like a close friend, a sibling, a mom, whoever they turn to in times of like crisis, or times where they don't know what to do and they have all these feelings and they need to vent. Um, and then I'm at the bottom. And so that's where we start. Or with children, if they're really little, I like to read this book to them, and it's about calming down. So it gives them ideas. So maybe finding a book about being calm, or just trying different calming techniques. And then we build their own solution card. And so we talk about times when they feel like this and times when they feel like this on their thermometer. And then we cut out, it's a little activity that we do, but we cut out and print, these are the different calm activities that they can try. So they get to choose what they would like to try, and then they glue them onto their solution card. And then I ask both caregivers and children to make sure that the solution card is in a place that's safe. It's not going to get ripped up. during behaviors, or if there's other kids or if there's animals in the home, make sure it's a safe space and it's like in a location that they'll see often, because I want them to practice it very regularly. So one of my tips is to practice regulation when you're regulated. You don't
Mm,
want to practice regulation when you're dysregulated, because you're not going to want to. And you're
right.
also not going to remember to if you've never practiced outside of it. So it's
That's right.
making regulation become actually a normal day to day thing that you do. Because just being a regulated person in general is going to calm the home and the peace in the home alone. So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to practice it when we're not dysregulated.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of where we start. We start with the solution card, and that is the activity I want you to do with the parents that are there. And I want you to ask, like, have some index cards and have them write down 5 things, and then practice it, put it into play. Because a lot of times, what we think is going to calm us down or what we feel like calms us down doesn't always calm us down.
That's
And so
right.
that's something that it's started at the beginning of our program, but all throughout the program, we revisit almost every session. Have you practice your solution card? What's working? What's not working? And then I'll actually give them tools. I do guided imagery, meditations with children. So there's a video I'm going to send to you. It's called The Melting Video. And kids, I'd say 10 and under, really, even 12 and under, really enjoy this video. And practicing it when they're regulated and when they're calm is best, so that when they hear it, they may not want to do it when they're in the middle of a meltdown, but just play it in the background. And then they can start, and you model it, do it too. Caregivers, I always emphasize, you have to do this too, because if they see you doing
Right.
it and they see that it's important to you, they will want to do it too.
That's good.
So the level involvement of the caregiver is the key.